What we have here is the Staedtler Mars Superbow compass sets. There's the box. That's the set inside. All right. So I actually have two of these sets. There's one of them. This is the one we'll be looking at. This one here is basically, if I can get that open, this one's identical to this one, with the exception of this one does not have a drop bow compass. That's the only difference, really. This set, if you can see, I've outfitted this compass to be a divider. So I've got two needles in here. This is my divider. I prefer to use as opposed to a standard divider. Anyways, so that's that. Here's the set. Oops, that came out. So you've got, of course, your quick bow compass, your small compass, non-quick bow, just a standard, thumb wheel in the center, your classic divider there. This has the cool little drop bow compass. And then you have the extension bar here, ruling pin attachment for the small compass, ruling pin attachment for the large compass, and a handle that you can fit the ruling pin attachment into and make yourself a ruling pin. You can also fit one of these pieces if you happen to have an extra one with a needle and make a little pricker for poking holes. Let's get into this. So this compass is quick bow. So you have these little fittings right here that when you push them in, they create tension on this plastic piece. This is, of course, a threaded plastic piece here. And when you do that, it kind of tightens it up. It doesn't make it impossible to move, it makes it a lot harder to move. And so it kind of feels like you're going to break it at first, but this is actually made to just open like that, close like that. It feels a little firm at first. And this screw right here, if you can see, it has kind of like a large groove spiral machining to it, as opposed to a fine machine threads on it, which enables it to do that quick action like that. This is a pretty large compass. You've got the old logo there, Staedtler there, and the mini logo. And as I say, when you push these in, it will actually get a lot firmer, so you don't lose your setting. All right. This has a nice feel to it. This handle's like a little bit fatter than some of the older ones. All right. And as I said, when you have these pushed in, it creates tension. You can still, if you do it really hard, you can still move it. But, or if you wanted to get it close to a measurement, you would adjust it. Maybe get one side tight, then you can adjust it a little bit more with a little bit less chance of it kind of getting out of tune there. All right, that's that. This is a really good compass set, in my opinion. These are very well made. I believe this is nickel plated brass. It looks almost like stainless steel, but I don't think it's stainless steel. Now this one, as well as the other one that I have, is double hinged or knee, or whatever you want to call it. So you've got a very stiff knee there. And let me loosen these. And then of course there's a joint there. It's good that they're that firm because you don't want them to be flopping around in the wind. This enables you, of course, if you're making circles, larger circles, if you want to get your needle, perpendicular to the page, so you're not just having a needle wobble around and tear a big hole in your paper like that. So that's that. That is very stiff, very nice fit there. It's just super tight. Okay, and then you can see kind of the end here. You can see the profile there, the shape there, how the end's kind of shaped, whatnot. This compass compared to the Rifler is a bit fatter profile, a little bit thicker. Of course, you have your removable, that's kind of stiff, lead holder that can come out and be swapped out with a rolling pin. All right. And then again as well, this joint here enables you to put the rolling pin attachment in here. This doesn't have a joint in the attachment itself, as like some of the older sets do. So you'd put this in here, and then you'd use this joint to get the rolling pin to be perpendicular to the paper, so it marks nicely. All right. I think that's all I have to say about that. One thing real quickly. I have an older one here. So there's the logo. I don't know, this set actually, this little instructional leaflet that came with it, it was printed in 1981. So this is probably like, you know, we're obviously from the early 80s. I think these sets were made in the 70s/80s. I have an older one here that I managed to acquire. And this one, if you notice the logo is different. I think this one is probably, I'm just guessing of course, it's probably from the 60s. And you can see here, a little bit smaller. It's got a different profile to the legs there. It's rounded around here and then totally flat on the inside. But it works the same mechanism. This one even has like more of even a coarser corkscrew type thread. And then of course you have a joint here. That one's a little bit smoother. No joint on this side. You've got the shouldered needle there. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. See the profile there of that. The first set I bought on eBay, which was not that long ago, was this set. I bought this set. I bought it one to have the set, but primarily I bought this set because I very badly needed needles. I had one modern Kern Swiss make compass. The needle in it was basically trash. I had one nice shoulder needle like this that was very sharp from a different Staedtler compass, and I really just needed some good needles. So I bought that set just to acquire a bunch of good needles. It worked out because this set right here is in really good shape, and the needles are all very sharp and pretty much seem to be unused. Anyways, let's put this away. So on to the features. Well, first, you get these older sets. What's great about them is they give you spare parts. So, this one's got an extra shoulder point needle and the regular divider style needle, a screw, a thumb wheel that rolled away I won't get right now, and then usually you have some extra leads in there. Depending on the sets, it comes with just a few or quite a bit of parts, which is nice. If you are getting into geometry or using old school compasses like this, my very first recommendation is going to be, don't go to your local store, whatever that is, and buy one. Go to eBay. You can get a set like this. This set has the drop bow compass, small compass, large compass. With this extension bar, I'll show you in a minute, you can make pretty dang large circles, divider, etc. This set, I think I paid 20 bucks for, or 25 bucks, and these are pretty abundant. They're pretty easy to get, relatively inexpensive. Just for reference, I bought my first Kern Swiss compass, which is a modern make made in Italy. It's a good compass, and I've made a lot of drawings with it. That compass just by itself was 25 bucks, and this whole set was 25 bucks. So, and again, typically with the older sets, you're getting higher quality. It's just really cool to have old drafting equipment, especially stuff that's just made so well and has held up and will hold up over time. Let's go on to the next function of this compass. So, in order to use this extension bar, you would not remove this piece. So modern compasses, you remove this piece and then the extension goes out this way. The lead, this piece would go into the extension and be out there. With this one, it's a different design and it's actually ingenious. And you may want to consider getting one of these if you don't have one, for this very reason alone. The extension bar fits into right here and doesn't replace the lead, it replaces the needle. Just like so. Cinch that up, and then you can see you can make very large radiuses with this. That's not even all the way out. Well, that's pretty far out, but this paper that I'm on, I think, is 12 by 18, 16. And this is actually, with this little needle here, the handle, with being able to put your hand here, it makes it very easy to use with light pressure. It's not awkward at all. So there's that. The other advantage of this style of compass versus the ones that have the extension on this side is you can put a universal attachment or holder in here, and then you can put a pencil, a pen, a fine liner, a Sakura pigment micron, whatever you want into there for marking your large circles out. Whereas the normal ones that come out this way, you're pretty much limited to this and lead. All right, let's move on. So of course we have our divider. Not much to say about this. It's got all metal gears in there. Of course, you see the introduction of plastics throughout the last century. I'm okay with that, actually. In some cases, this feels good, you know. Of course, the gears are metal, the legs are all metal, everything else is solid metal. So of course you would use this as a way of dividing a circle or just transferring a measurement, however you would want to do that, like so. Next, we'll move on to the small compass. This guy. Again, these come with just really good needles. Usually they're the style that have a shouldered point and then a regular long tapered point. And the ones that are in the divider are just a long tapered point. I think these are 2 millimeter. The ones in the divider are typically 1.5 millimeters. Again, this is to cover your smaller sizes, you know, smaller range of radiuses. Again, these compasses are not very flashy or fancy per se, but they're solid, quality, well-made instruments. Nothing wrong with these at all. Of course, you have the detachable piece here. You can make this a divider if you wanted to, and you have the ruling pin attachment. Now with this guy, the ruling pin attachment, or this compass, doesn't have a joint here, so you're kind of limited if you were to use this in here as far as the angle you could get and still have this mark well, because you want to have the tines touching, you know, parallel to the paper, like that. Anyways, of course you have the spring up here on this version, as opposed to the larger compass just has a gear head, and that's about as wide as it can go. Of course, it can go to pretty small. And then for the smallest range of circles that you'd want to make, we have the drop bow compass. This is, I think, a very, very good design. You know, just because you have one hinge here, this little arm moves out on a hinge. This is all fixed from here to here, and so you have your adjustment there. Feels very smooth. Even though this is plastic, again, you're not exerting a bunch of force on this thing. I don't see that as an issue, really. And so with this, of course, you have a very, very sharp needle. And the way this works is you place the needle down and you let this piece fall, then you simply spin this around and apply light pressure. And you can see that makes a tiny circle. I could go even smaller. That is just, holy cow. That's like diameters under a 1/4 inch. You could go even smaller. So anyways, there's that. I like this guy. It's just petite, lightweight, seems to be very accurate. There's nothing weird about this thing. It seems to be just a solid design. And then of course you have the handle here. Like I said earlier, you can use this and make yourself a ruling pin out of it, like so. And I've taken one of these actually and another piece off a compass and made a pricker for myself to mark out the holes before I throw my compass in there. Like I said, all in all, these are just solid sets. They're pretty affordable, pretty common and abundant, pretty easy to get. And I highly recommend getting yourself a Staedtler Mars Superbow compass set. Thanks for watching.